This
You are able to
conference
see
will now be recorded.
Rohini and Maya, can you please confirm?
Um, are you sharing something or?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
No, Nayak, I don't know. I'm unable to see anything. I'm not sure about Mirhali.
Uh,
Oh yeah, now we are able to.
okay, thank you. Thank you. So, warm welcome to again. So, good evening for you. And we'll starting yesterday. We have covered some basic questions like the how to start with EC payroll and what are the prerequisites and the entire curriculum structure. And these are the main three topics which we will be covering as a part of our EC payroll. The starting with payroll administration. Second one is your integration with the Employee Central Payroll. Third one is the Payroll Control Center. Okay. So we started just the beginning one. So today in the day one, we'll be covering like the topics, the main topics whenever you are starting with the EC payroll, why, what's, and whom's. So this is again a little theoretical. So I'll be covering quickly and towards so what is actually relevant for us. Then I'll be going switch back to those topics. And in the meanwhile, if I'm very fast or very slow, just let me know so that I can adjust accordingly. Is that fine?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So when we start with payroll deployment options, generally we have four types of payroll deployment options. Okay, in that is on-premise. On-premise in the sense it's a purely your SAP HCM on-premise on S4 HANA. Second one is the cloud basic AMS. Okay, so that is actually SAP SuccessFactors with Employee Central Payroll. Okay, third one is a cloud full AMS. Cloud means actually is fully controlled by cloud and it is managed for managed payroll. Okay, and fourth one is fully outsourced. Fully outsourced means actually it is completely covered. Even the payroll implementation, your everything, service support, everything will be outsourced. So again, in this scenario, you can see there are two axes. In the x-axis, you can see the headcount of the employees. In the y-axis, you can see there is a level of service level. So there are accordingly you have different payroll deployment options. So I'll be having quickly walk through of what is what. Okay. So like partner managed cloud SAP SuccessFactors service. The first one, if you see from the top, okay, actually it is a kind of a BPO model. So in this model, SAP partner they will be implementing, they will be supporting, they will be processing everything. So everything is controlled by the partner, okay, who will be implementing for the payroll. Okay, so that is the top session, so that partner managed cloud SAP payroll. Second one is your SAP SuccessFactors solution for managed payroll. Okay, so in these cases what will happen, so managed payroll offering, it will be having both, it is subscription based model again, but here actually if you see your all the on-premise or whatever payroll customer, so whatever it is suitable for them, and also they can deploy the EC along with the, if you are planning for SAP payroll and time and you have little bit of complex time management and requirement, in that case you can use it. Okay, but here the payroll run, the EC payroll run will be done by the client, but as well as implementation and support by the partner. Okay, so this is the second category. And third category, mostly it is actually used like where actually you will be implementing, but the entire support will be done by the client themselves. They will be having their internal team. Okay, and it is suitable for customer size who is having minimum 2000 employees. Okay, and also you EC as usual, EC is a prerequisite for all the models which are discussing. Okay, and EC benefits, the benefit focus if you're using EC time or workforce software, and those kind of requirements, standard requirement, okay, those can be fulfilled by. But the difference between second and third is second have, suppose if you're having more complex environment for time management and benefit requirements, then generally we use that. Okay, so these are actually, these questions will not be asked in your certification, but from an understanding point of view, whenever you are implementing for the first time and if your client is asking for something, then you can discuss these things. Okay, So last one is your SAP HCM HANA, S4 HANA based, but again it is not relevant for us because this is actually it's a kind of environment where it is not at present, it's not available. So on-premise HANA based solution they are planning for, which will be supporting till 2030. Okay, so it is actually a transition path. People who are planning for their migration to success factor payroll. Okay, but actually the first three actually are more relevant. Okay, so the fourth one is not yet released. Okay, so it will be around 2023 it will be released. It's a kind of a sidecar they call it, the approach they call it sidecar. So it's a separate instance, and it will be for only for all existing on-premise customer who are not ready, who are not yet ready to move to cloud, but they will be support, means SAP will support it 2030, 2023 to 30 is a transition path. Okay, so this is we are not focusing. So our focus will be more on the this one. Okay, success factor, employee central, payroll, and the first three approach generally we suggest. Okay? So these are the three things just before we start for the different offering. What are the different offerings available by SAP as of now? As a EC payroll consultant, you should know these topics. Okay, so for that reason, I just gave an overview of the deployment options. The four deployment options. On-premise not yet available. So which is the upcoming one, means HANA based, as for HANA based, and first three actually the cloud basic AMS, cloud full AMS, fully outsourced depending upon the service level requirement, and you can plan for all these things. Okay? So these are different payroll deployment options. Now actually I'll be coming to certification track. So when I say certification track, these are part of the different topics. So these are different 11 topics which I have taken from the certification hub. So whenever you are planning for certifications, so you will be following this structure. Okay, so there are different weightages for different topics. Okay, so but when I am be explaining to you, I may not follow the same sequence. All the topics will be covered, but I'll be following a different sequence which is actually logically connected to each other. Okay, so I'll be after completion of the entire curriculum, I'll be coming back, and here I'll be showing where I have taught what. Okay, so is that fine for you?
Yeah, should be okay.
Okay, okay. Because all the topics I'll be covering, but not necessarily in the same sequence. Okay. So these topics actually I've taken from directly from the certification requirement, from the certification point of view, other topics required. Okay. So each and every topic will be covering, but not in the same sequence. There will be a little bit delta changes in the sequence. So I'll be following this another sequence, and after completion of training, and I'll be telling what we covered where, and I'll be providing in the topic wise questions for you to practice. Okay, those practice questions will be provided to you so that you'll be very much confident of clearing the certification as well as during your implementations. Okay, it will be helpful for you. So these are different topics. Actually, I've taken it from the certification hub itself. Okay, so these are different categories. Okay, now we'll be coming to the topic. So when I say EC payroll, so I have given an equation of a EC payroll. So what does EC payroll mean? Okay, so EC payroll logically it is a three things. As I was mentioning yesterday, EC is a prerequisite. Okay, so without EC you can't go for EC payroll. So EC is a primary prerequisite for your EC payroll. Okay, so you must have Employee Central in your place, or if you are planning for making live before your EC payroll is live. Okay, it is better. And after once you are having EC system, then you must be having your SAP HCM mini master. When I say payroll on cloud, at least some basic configuration you have to do on your SAP HCM side also, like some basic configuration, like so your OMP, a little bit of primary, what are the basic minimum requirement, those configuration must be there. That is we call ECC. And third one is the heart of EC payroll, that is a PCC, payroll control center. Okay, to summarize in one equation or a one line, EC payroll is a combination of Employee Central, SAP HCM payroll on cloud, and the payroll control center. Okay, so this is actually what the topics we'll be covering, but will not be focusing in this scenario because you are already certified or you already work in Employee Central. So we'll be focusing on this payroll control center and what are the things we have to do in SAP SCM payroll on cloud. Then we'll be going for other topics. Okay, integration topics related to this. Okay, so this is a suppose somebody asks what is an EC payroll, you can straightly in a single line you can make means you can tell the same thing. Okay, ECP is a combination of EC, ECC plus PCC. Okay? That is the ECP equation, I can say. Okay, so now we'll be starting with our core topics for this is the first as I was mentioning, there are three categories or three main topics in the EC payroll. So today we'll be starting with the HR 812, that is your Employee Central Payroll Administration. Okay, so this topic is actually meant for administrate all the payroll administrator, but from a consultant point of view, you have to understand the topic also very deep, and because you will be going to train those people who will be payroll administrator or payroll process manager. So for that reason, actually it is a part of your certification. So if you compare with all other modules of success factor, generally the administrator part is not part of your those specific certifications. Suppose I'm giving an example of recruiting management or an onboarding 2.0 or any LMS. So in that case, you will not be finding specific administrative topics in the certification. But when it comes to the employee central payroll certification point of view, this administrative topic also is a part of your certification. Around 20-30% question comes from here from an administrative point of view. Okay, so for that reason this topic is important also. Okay, so in administrative side, HR 812, what are the topics we'll be covering? So here we'll be covering like basic introduction, which we have already done a little bit. Then managing how to different user access. After half an hour, I'll be showing you the different RBPs, the role-based permissioning available in the administrative side, that we'll be seeing in the manage user access. Similarly, there are certain basic things you for which you must be knowing entering employee data. So this topic I'll be making it optional because entering employee data you are already aware of. Okay, like how to hire an new employee, what are the payroll specific data. Okay, only the data points I'll be touching upon, but I'll be telling you means once I give you the instance access, you can also do those things. You're already must be aware of how to hire an employee, how to update employee specific payroll related data. So those topics will be covering there, and there will be basics of payroll control center, and after understanding payroll control center, the detailed part will be covered in the part C. So this is now part A. Okay, so once it is done, then we'll be going for deep into localization and some additional topics which are related to the HR 812, that is your administrative topic. So with that we'll be starting the topic now. So what are the so in this topics we'll be covering how the look and feel of payroll control center look like, how are the different main function of EC payroll and payroll control center, and also we'll be discussing how PCCs and EC payroll are connected. Okay, that we'll be covering. Okay, so before we start, like this is just an example of I've given an entire employee lifecycle management where EC payroll fit in. Okay, so if you see the entire employee lifecycle that we call end to a hire to retire, so you can see there is attract to hire. So here you will be having your all the recruiting, onboarding, those modules. The towards the end again you will be having your offboarding module. Similarly in the center you'll be finding something in the orange color circle. You'll be finding something called manage workforce. Okay, so manage workforce, inside manage workforce, there are many things like manage position, which is covered in your position management. Okay, so your manage benefits, that is a benefit administration. Your similarly your managed payroll, there is a specific process for your EC payroll that will be coming under your manage workforce this topic. Okay, so why I am telling you this, because before implementing your EC payroll, you must be aware of what are the current existing process for the payroll. Okay, that is most important. You have to understand the current client process and what are the what is their strategy, anything, what are the pain points that you have to understand. So for that reason, I just kept this topic as a part of this. Okay, and once you are done, So once you understand the managed payroll specific processes, you can redesign. There are different BPM tools you must be aware of. Are you aware of any BPM tools? Have you worked?
Not me.
Not me.
Okay, okay. So I'll be then I'll be giving one just simple why it is required, because it is not connected to your certification or but it is also important for your implementation point of view if you're working for a large client and all. So basically BPM is nothing but your business process modeling. Okay, so suppose you are working for a large client where you have multiple integrations. Okay, so with EC and EC payroll, then you have to use some kind of BPM tool. So SAP has its own BPM tool, but that comes with an additional cost. That is the third one, Signavio. Okay, which I have the diagram which I have shown you. That was taken from the Signavio. There is a tool, and similarly, also we have tools like Microsoft Visio, which is most of the clients I have seen using, and also there is another BPM tool, Aris. So our focus is not to go deep into these tools, but there are different kinds of tools available where you can draw your client specific payroll processes. Okay, so these are the different BPM tools, and I personally used this first and second one, Microsoft Visio as well as Aris. Okay, so these are the business tools. So generally we capture client specific payroll specific business processes. Okay, and more details you can find it out. There are specific courses for that. I'll not be going very much detail, but I'm giving a referral link. Whenever you are getting free time, you can go to those, at least you try to learn some of these BPM tools, so that it will be adding value to your CV and future any jobs you are searching for, any specific. Okay, it will be adding value to your career. Okay, so it is better to learn any one of these BPM tools. So now I'll be little bit coming to the process overview. Okay, so before and going for any kind of implementation, it's always better to understand some kind of process. So this process I have done using the Signavio tool, which is SAP provided Signavio tool. So in payroll, we have more you have more four major activities. Okay, so first one, if you see, so pre-payroll, second one is a run payroll, third one is a post payroll, fourth one is the periodical activities. Okay, so what we do in each and everything, so each and every activities, or you can say this is a process group together. Okay, what are the activities you will be doing before running the payroll, that will be covered in your first box. Okay, that is in this pre-payroll activities. What are the things you have to do, and what are the related configurations? So okay, so what should be the admin aware of, who will be doing what? Okay, so all those activities are covered in a pre-payroll session. Okay, similarly, whenever you are running the payroll, while running the payroll, what are the activities you will be doing? Okay, so like say you'll be doing one kind of simulation run. After simulation run, you'll be checking some kind of see is there any error is coming up. Okay, or all those kind of activities you will be doing. Okay, then you will be running the final payroll run. Once the payroll is finally run, then you will be doing the posting. Okay, so generally posting is done after the live payroll. So after the payroll is done successfully and there is no error, okay, then you will be doing the finance posting, so that your payroll data will be posted to the finance. Okay, and then finance will be doing the remaining activities, like they'll be sending the seed to the banks. Okay, they'll be communicating with the bank, third party remittance, anything. Okay, those kind of activities they will be doing. And the fourth one is the periodical activities. Okay, so periodical activities means any kind of ad hoc activities. Suppose there is any kind of off cycle payment, or a sorry actually, if you are having any kind of say off cycle payment, or any kind of bonus payment, or any kind of ad hoc, all kind of ad hoc payments. Okay, so communicating with tax authorities. Okay, those kind of activities will be always there. Okay, so these actually I have taken it from the Signavio tool itself, and also the link I have provided in this sheet. For details, you can directly go into this particular process library, and you can download the entire sheet, and you can tweak these processes as per your client requirement. It's not necessary you follow everything whatever it is written in this payroll, but most of the clients they follow this kind of process. Okay, so in here, so from process point of view, I'm not going very details, but if you are finding any difficulties to understanding, this is very simple. Just only thing, you have to navigate to different processes, and it is you'll be finding the SAP SuccessFactors process library. From there, you'll be getting all, you can download the entire all the processes, and whatever is relevant, okay, for your client, you can if you any changes is required, okay, that you can tweak all those processes, and you can, and then you start your discussion with your client. Okay, so this is an just an overview of the from a process point of view. What are the things important? Okay, so next, we'll be coming to the cycle of the payroll, like what is a payroll cycle. So payroll, what are the different work processes involved in a payroll? Okay. So whenever I'm talking about the payroll, it is all about there are four things. One is the generation of the payroll results. Whenever you are running the payroll, you will be having some payroll results, which is in the on-premise. If you have already worked, then you'll be finding that they are stored in a particular table, RT table. They're called results table. Okay, this is how once your payroll is successfully finally run, then it will be generating the payroll results. Then second one is the generation of the remuneration statements. That is nothing but your pay slips. Okay, so it will generate your pay slips. Then third one is your implementation of a bank transfers. Okay, so once your finance posting is done, then you will be running a program for posting or implementing to the how the bank transfer will happen. Then automatically your salary will be credited. That is your last one, facilitation of check payments or the online payments. Okay, this is the overall how the payroll will work. And for a employee point of view or an employer point of view, these are the four major number of work processes basically which is required for your payroll run. Okay, so this is just some basic things only. So here, so how does it look? Payroll cycle looks like. Okay. So when I say payroll cycle, so for every payroll cycle, you have some deadline. Okay, because employee has to receive the particular payment in a particular date, and that is generally in the last working day of the payroll period. But again, it depends upon organization to organization, client to client. Okay, and similarly, you have a fixed date for tax declaration to be submitted on a specific date. Otherwise, you will be having some kind of penalties depending upon your countries and regulatory principles and all. Okay, so this is how you have some kind of specific deadlines, specific jobs you have to run. Okay, so generally what used to happen, so in the traditional or normal payroll cycle, it used to happen we have to run some kind of batch jobs, okay, for some kind of data upload and all. But when it comes to the EC payroll, such kind of scenarios actually now it is automated. Most of the things are automated. You can directly see the alerts in the employee central payroll dashboard itself. Okay, you don't have to wait for a particular deadline. Before deadline, you can directly proactively work in those days. So this is how just a comparison has been given, like the traditional normal pay cycle and the current payroll cycle. What are the different influence, what are the different effects you'll be getting. Okay, so these are the different since I can say you. So this is actually the payroll process. Earlier it was very time consuming process. Now it is most the process have been automated. You don't have to download and consolidate multiple reports. Okay. So this is just you can also read these things. So I'm not focusing much here. These are all theoretical. Hmm? Huh. So what was the pain point in the pre-payroll process when we used to use the standard on-premise payroll? So I'm just giving a light on this. So in the earlier pre-payroll, you have a lot of checkpoint, okay, like payroll journals. You have to download a wage tab reporter, as I was saying. Okay, what is the how many total number of new hire have joined? Okay, so these are different processes you have to follow in the earlier payroll cycle in the on-premise days, but it was not very much transparent. Okay, so as I was telling, so when it comes to the on-premise, it was not very much transparent, and a lot of things you have to do it manually. So that is how EC payroll comes into picture, and where it will be, it tries to maximize the automation and maximize the such kind of pre-payroll check. It's made more transparent. Okay, so you don't have to download. So why I have crossed this payroll journal, waste tab reporter, still all this functionality will be available to you, but you don't have to go and visit all these reports, all these, you don't have to calculate total gross, you don't have to calculate total tax. Automatically system will be pop up in your dashboard saying this is the total tax, this is the total gross. Okay, so system will be giving those KPIs, whatever you have designed. Okay, those details SAP will be SAP EC payroll will be providing in your dashboard. Okay, so you don't have to run after any kind of reports. Okay, so those are the different pain points were there in the EC on the old payroll. Okay, so these are the screens you must be familiar. So are you familiar with this kind of screens in the earlier days? Just a quick question.
Yeah, it's a payroll driver for US.
Exactly. So these are different payroll run program. You have to run a multiple transaction. You have to run. Sometimes you have to make those transaction as a. You can see in the right hand side. This is a selection screen. You have to choose something. Again, you have to save a variant here. Okay. So there are different transaction codes. So so here I'll be just focusing like what are the different transactions for simulation. What are release payroll, start payroll. There are different transaction code for downloading in your payslip. There is a transaction. Okay, so different transaction we used to do, and many of the clients also they were not happy that much happy, like though although they have already into habituated, but still they were not very much happy with this kind of interface. They have to remember some kind of transaction. They have to, even if they were making favorite, still they have to run a transaction and some kind of, sometimes they miss. I have seen in from my personal experience, I have seen in the selection screen sometimes they enter something else and the payroll run into a tuss. Okay, so those kind of things I have also seen, and sometimes they check this display log, but again, suppose they are running for say 20,000 employee and the payroll run, if you're running, if you have experience in this, if you're running this payroll, by clicking this display log, it will take more time and sometimes it consumes more memory and it will give, at the end, if any problem, it will give into a dump. Okay, so those kind of scenarios we have already faced in your on-premise days. So those kind of scenarios now it will be automated from an EC payroll point of view. This, all these programs will be automated. You don't have to run by clicking or by entering all those values. You don't have to do that. Okay, a lot of flexibility came after EC payroll. Okay, similarly, very if you are facing any, so this is again another screenshot I've taken from the old school. I call it actually the on-premise payroll is old school. So basically all this kind of logs you must be aware of. So to do any kind of analysis, it is little technical. As a technical consultant, you can understand, or as a functional consultant, you can understand. But as a payroll admin, if I go into a log, if I don't have any technical knowledge, it is very really difficult to understand what is the meaning of these many waste types. This is actually sample of the payroll log. Okay, so this is a sample screenshot for a payroll log in the on-premise, how it looks like. And then in the right hand side, you can see the table RT, means the results table, and what are the different components, all the waste types. All these are all technical waste types. And the last one you can see, this is a 1002 and 1112. These are some other waste types, which are the standard waste types and all. So here you can see there are different components. So do all kind of any kind of error troubleshooting. It is very technical and hard to understand when it comes to on-premise payroll. Okay, so similarly, the reporting also very much transactional. You have to choose a specific layout, what to, every time you'll be getting a query, what to select and what not to select. Okay, so those are the actually different pain points from a reporting point of view. Okay, in the on-premise payroll. So now how SAP EC payroll solves it. So they have these four things. Okay, so from an EC payroll point of view, as yesterday also I was telling, but yesterday I have given just an overview. So when it comes to the payroll control center, it is actually, it is most important. The feature is vast pre-payroll functionality. So all those pre-payroll check, you will be automatically, you will be finding. So here I have given a taken a screenshot. If you see in this, you will be finding a different components. In the main most important is the KPIs. Okay, the payroll amount analysis. If you see, there are different KPIs I have given, like the total gross comparison. Okay, so this is an example. So in the last period, what was the total gross, and the current payroll cycle, what is my total gross? Okay, that comparison I have given. Similarly, the total net comparison. Okay, so that is another tile you can see the total net comparison. Similarly, the total employee tax. So what was the total amount of tax in the last month, or what is in the current period, that you can see, and total employer tax. So these are some examples I have given. It's not necessarily it will be looking like this. So you can configure these specific tiles and specific KPIs. I'll be coming to this topic whenever we'll be deep diving into the payroll control center topics. Okay? And most of this configuration you can do. So SAP also provides some standard configuration. You can replicate those and you can customize specific, you can do the settings that we'll be discussing in the payroll control center topics. But for now, you just understand what are the different features or what are the different functionalities you'll be having in your payroll control center. Okay. So this is actually all about your pre-payroll functionality, and user experience. Actually, it is as usual much better because all our Fiori interface in SuccessFactors, most of the things are okay. So you don't have to worry about the user experience point of view, and you don't have to digging through the, just I was explaining, no more digging through the technical and payroll result system. Okay. So many times payroll administrator, they have to answer to the audit requirement. Okay. So you must have seen like different auditor comes and asks a lot of questions to the payroll people, how this value, how you have derived, how, what is the significance of that value, how, so different calculation, tax related authorities questions, so many questions the payroll administrator have to handle. And many a times we have seen, even I have seen that in those auditing phase, generally the functional consultants come to the administrator and they help in those questions. But now with EC Payroll and Payroll Control Center, you will be finding all this very much intuitive, and you will be finding all those information in a single click in this same dashboard. You don't have to dig down. You don't have to dig down through all the technical waste types. You don't have to click plus button here and you expand all this to understand what is the discrepancy. You don't have to do that. Okay. So these are different facilities that are available in the EC Payroll Control Center from an audit point of view, and for any kind of troubleshooting point of view, it is very easy. Similarly, the fourth one is the most important, the KPIs. Okay, so KPIs is nothing but key performance indicator. So these are the different KPIs which can be presented. So as I was telling, the total gross comparison, total net comparison, total number of employee hire in the particular cycle. So there are different KPIs available. So these KPIs are presented in a very logical manner in the payroll control center dashboard. You can see that. So these are different benefits we are having with using the EC payroll. So as I was mentioning, different questions, many questions have one answer now EC payroll. So it will basically reduce your processing time, and all kind of, it will be more interactive and online, on demand, you can say. Okay. So these are the different things from a payroll control center introduction point of view. Okay. So when it comes to the payroll control center, so there are three things here. Okay. So there is a terminology you will be coming across that is called one-click monitoring. Okay. So why it is called one-click monitoring? With a single click in the system, in your payroll control center, you can navigate to all the information. As I was mentioning, only thing is you have to go to the payroll control center dashboard. In the dashboard, you will be having all the information like the alert, all the payroll amount analysis, all the alert assignment. Okay, so we'll be coming to this topic slowly, like what are the different alert assignment, how to design an alert. Okay, so earlier days you have to take help from ABAP. Okay, like some kind of message, error message, or it is a warning message, some additional custom message you have to write. Then in that case, you have to follow up with an ABAP consultant and all. But now here, you can also design as a functional consultant. You can also design some kind of alert. So those topics will be going very details later on. But from an introduction point of view, so this is just a concept I was explaining. You with a single click of monitoring, you will be able to monitor everything, all the payroll control center related topics you can monitor. Okay. So once your payroll one-click monitoring is done, everything is successful. So you can see there is a green tick here. So once it is done, then you will be going for the payroll production. Okay. So you'll be running their production payroll. Once it is done, then everything is correct, then there is no error, then you can do a payroll follow-up. Follow-up means you'll be downloading any kind of specific compliance related reports, anything, or you will be following the different authorities, the third party remittance. Okay. third-party authorities and all, that will be there in the payroll follow-up section. There are mainly three sections in the payroll control center processes: one-click monitoring, payroll production, and the payroll follow-up. So these are three major activities. And the same thing I have covered in this slide. Like there are, you can, when I say validation rules, you will be having different, you have an option to write, define different policies, okay, different policies. So as per your client specific processes, you can design your policies and all, you can do that. Okay, so when I say one click monitoring, in the one click monitoring, you can see there are different in this image, you can see there are different color code. Okay, so here, that what is the meaning of that? So you will be having different people who will be participating in your monitoring process. It is not necessarily only the payroll administrator. Rather, if you want to involve some people from HR who are actually responsible for data maintenance. Okay, say your payroll related data or any specific data. There are some people who are actually responsible for garnishment. Okay, only they do garnishment. Okay, there are certain people who are related to more for only for reporting, payroll related reporting. So you can design different roles, and you can have all them, you can all work in a collaborative way. Okay, in a single dashboard, you don't have to do mail back and forth, you don't have to do those kind of things, are not there anymore in the EC payroll. So you can have a collaborative environment in that, in payroll control center, in a team of experts, I will say, team of experts along with your payroll administrator and subject matter expert. You will be having you can do all work in a collaborative way in the one click monitoring process. Okay, so that all your data quality, so before running any kind of payroll production, all your data quality is 100% correct, and it is accurate enough to run the perfect payroll. Okay, so that is actually the concept of one click monitoring. Then as usual, you'll be running your payroll production followed by your follow up for payroll. Okay, so that is the things actually. So any questions so far before I go for any?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So this is again, there is something called this decouple. Any idea what is a decoupling process? Any, have you heard about this term called decoupling?
I think SAP came up with the decoupling with the NetWeaver, where the info types from the backend are coupled to the websites or the cloud version of it.
So you are correct partially. So when it comes to the same thing, so decoupling, what happens? So basically the verification of the data quality, as you have mentioned, and NetWeaver there, but it is also applicable for here from a payroll process point of view also. Okay, so from a payroll process point of view, so to verify the data quality for any kind of data quality payroll, so generally it separates you're verifying the data and your monitoring of those data. Okay, so those kind of is separated the process. That is actually called decoupling. And it is you'll be finding this terminology more and again in the coming session also, decoupling, and also you'll be finding another terminology called declustering. Okay, so those kind of terminologies you'll be finding very often. So declustering, I'll be explaining more into details because it's a part of our certification as well. There are specific declustering tools available to us in SuccessFactors. Okay, so those tools we'll be discussing in detail later on. Okay, but for the time being, you understand what are the different innovations happening in the EC payroll. So it basically decouples the process of verifying the data quality from the production payroll. Okay, so our production payroll, you will be running in a different process, and your data quality verification will be part of a different process. Earlier it was in a single process, but actually now in EC payroll the real innovation is happening to the decoupling the process, so that you can focus for before running the payroll, production payroll, first you verify all the data quality, it is all in perfect. Okay, so then only you will be going for the production payroll. Those kind of that is your decoupling process. Second one is the allow users the real-time insights. So every time you run, you will be having every time a real-time insight. Suppose there are 5 new people joined in my organization, in the client organization, and you will be automatically finding those 5 people's in the dashboard that new hire has been 5 new hire joined in this particular month of February 2020. And suppose 5 out of 5, 3 people have updated their tax details and everything, but 2 people have not updated. Then those kind of things you'll be getting immediately. So you don't have to run a report and at the end of the month. Okay. So and also it allows users to interact with the payroll system. Okay, so when I say interactive, as I was mentioning, the one-click monitoring, so all the people who are part of your core payroll team, as well as the subject matter experts or any consultants or any tax people, all people can interact with each other in a single dashboard. There will be option. You don't have to, you can suppose there is some error coming up. Okay, so the administrator can assign a particular alert. Suppose it is related to the garnishment, some kind of issue is coming up. Okay, so the administrator can directly assign that particular task. There are some task options. The task it will be assigned to the person who is a specialist in the garnishment. Okay, so that he will be able to solve that particular issue and he will be make ready for the payroll. Okay, so this is more interactive. The third one. The fourth one is no longer the list of people who have to scan, find out what is going on. Okay, you don't have to double check a lot of things. Okay, so that is actually the innovations. These are the 4 main innovations in your EC payroll. Okay, and similarly we have something called policies. Okay, many times the policies clients have specific policies. So I'll be giving one example. Suppose your organization has a policy like your particular allowance, say per diem or any kind of allowances, it has a maximum limit or minimum limit. Okay, so and it varies as per your different employee grouping. Okay, so for a manager, this is a particular range, a particular range. For senior manager and director, there's a different range of that particular uh, policy. So those are different policies. Those policies also you can define in the with EC payroll. Okay, so you can make limit, like what is the maximum limit, what is the minimum limit. Okay, those kind of limits you can configure. You can idea there are. Whenever we'll be configuring the policies, I'll be going into details. But now, for the now, you just understand these options we have in the EC payroll. Okay, so also you'll be finding the root cause whenever you are making these policies implemented inside PCC, that is your payroll control center. Okay, you will be finding all the information consistently. Okay, so that it will be helpful. So whenever there is a problem, why that particular payment is not done, you can find out the root cause, that it is having a particular minimum limit and maximum limit. So for that reason you are not able to process that because you have exceeded that limit or some kind of error, related error, depending upon your configuration. You will be getting those kind of message in your policies. Whenever you are, these are different kinds of policies also can be configured in the EC payroll. Okay, so these are different options we have. And when it comes to the production payroll, we have these are different steps we follow. Okay, so once your all the data quality in place, all are correct, perfect data you are having. Okay, so we start the payroll production. Okay, so we generally all the master data should be correct and all should be locked. Once you start payroll production, you lock your master data. Okay, so once it is done, then you will be going for the running the payroll. Okay, running the payroll means your productive payroll results will be created in that. Okay, that is your second step in the run payroll. Third one is all about the posting. Okay, the payroll posting you'll be doing, and that will be running a simulation run. Okay, in this simulation run we'll be just verifying the correctness. Okay, so here you have to just remember, like whenever you are simulating, you will be finding the correct, but we do not have any kind of simulation here in the payroll. Okay, you can do, but that is actually controlled by your data quality check, because you can already check those data quality and all. But when it comes to the payroll posting, you will be finding uh, all the you'll be finding a simulate. You have to run a simulation before the actual payroll posting. Okay, so once it is done, then you will be going for run payroll data validation. Okay, so still here you have an option to whether all of your policies as per your client requirement, whatever the policies you have defined. Okay, so then again you have an opportunity to check that. Okay, so in that step you can check all the validations, and once it is done, if there is no policy violation and all, then in the fifth step again you have again another option to your verify your payroll data quality check once again. Okay, once it is everything is correct, everything is going fine, there is no error and all, then finally you can run your end your payroll production. Okay, so that it will be closed for your entire payroll production. So this is a simple step-by-step approach for running a payroll production payroll in the payroll your BCC in our EC payroll. This is just a sample example of processes. Okay, so
A question.
similarly, yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. So process model. Do we still
Yeah,
leverage that?
process model. Yeah, you are correct, 100% correct. So this is the process model which we have for PCC. Okay, that generally we follow. And similarly, whenever you are defining the process model, this is a sample screenshot you have taken. There are three things. One is your active processes, upcoming processes, and completed processes. Okay. So what is an active process? Suppose you are in the month of February 2020. Okay, so in the February 2020, I can, what are the different activities and how much percentage I have completed, everything I can monitor from the payroll control center process management screen. Okay, those are the different active processes. Suppose there are three active processes, I'll be finding is a three active processes, three. Okay, then second one is upcoming process. Suppose for the month of March, there are certain activities to be done. Then I will be keeping in there automatically. It will be coming in the upcoming process. The March month of March 2020. These are my upcoming process. Say some tax compliant, some tax authority I have to report. I have to download it for some specific do some activities related to the your month of March and April I have to do. Then those kind of processes you will be finding in upcoming, and all these are real time. Okay, all these process as an agent when you complete, you will be finding all those alert, all those status, all you, it will be updated, and it will be having your specific signal, like you can say it is okay. Okay means it is done. Then step in execution means it is in progress. Okay, those kind of signals also, the symbols you will be finding here, different you will be finding here. Similarly, the last one is the completed process. Means suppose you have completed month of January. Okay, that then you will be finding say completed. You have completed particular processes for the month of January. Okay, so these are different processes you will be finding more into details whenever you will be going. This is just an overview. We'll be going into deep into all these topics in the payroll control center manager. Okay, so these topics I'll be going into details in the payroll. This is just an overview how this tabs will be looking like, the managed processes, managed policies. Okay, so policies are configured under processes. So every processes you will be having some kind of policies. Okay, so all these details will be going into details. So you just understand now how it will be looking like. Okay, so policies, it can be different alerts. As I was saying, different alerts will be configuring. Okay, so those kind of configuration you can do under the managed policies, and those particular policies will be part of a particular processes. Suppose I'll be giving one example here. Suppose you are having a processes related to a specific particular one-click monitoring or production payroll. So these are my different processes. Okay. Suppose I'm designing some policy which is specific to a production payroll only. Then I'll be configuring a particular policies and which will be triggered and which will be aligned or assigned to the particular process, say production payroll. Okay. So production payroll, what are my checkpoints? Okay, while running a production payroll, while doing a one-click monitoring, what are my checkpoints? Okay, so generally in case of one-click monitoring, I'll be checking my master data. Okay, so all your master data related information, like all the bank details have been updated or not, that will be one kind of checkpoint. Okay, so those all those information, all those configuration I can do, and I can set those alert so that I'll be running a perfect payroll before due date. Okay, so that is the idea about it. So this managed so you don't confuse between what is the process and what is policies. Okay, so generally policies come under a particular process. You can think of process is a bigger set and policy is a smaller set, which is coming under your bigger set. Okay, so those details will be covering into detail, but now for time being you understand these are the different options available. Okay, so when it comes to the payroll control center, you'll be having my processes. My processes means So you'll be finding processes which are relevant for you. Okay, suppose as I was mentioning, as giving an example of garnishment, I am suppose a specialist in garnishment. Okay, so only the garnishment related activities will be, or processes will be assigned to me. Not, I'm not, suppose I'm not handling any kind of reporting, then I will not be this, those row processes will not be assigned to me. Okay, so all these processes and you will be whatever relevant for you, it will be applicable for you, it will be available in this my processes screen. Okay, so all those details will be going to deep dive. Similarly, suppose you are a person who will be taking care of all kind of reimbursement. Okay, so all kind of reimbursement, which generally you run in the off-cycle payment. Okay, so then only that particular off-cycle payroll related process will be assigned to you, not the regular payroll. It depends. Again, in if it is a small organization which is having say 2000 to 3000 employee and there are some 2 to 3 HR, then in that case one HR has to do a multiple activities. Again, it depends upon the organization size of the organization, how many people are dedicatedly working for payroll. Okay, so it depends upon a lot of factors. Okay, so these are different payroll control center as I was explaining. Okay, these are different access. Okay. So to summarize what we have covered today, so we'll be seeing what are the different goals and objectives of the payroll control center and what are the different tools available in our inside our employee EC payroll control center. Okay, so these are different topics from an payroll control center introduction point of view we have covered. Okay, any questions you have? Any doubts?
So, Nayak, over there on the screen under my payroll, you said like under the my processes, right? My process, if I'm right. So, does
Yes.
that mean that do we have to control it using manage RBPs, or is that it is controlled for the complete organization? How is that? I didn't
Okay.
get the point over there.
Okay. I will be coming to that. So my processes, we have a configuration. It is not directly controlled by RBP. Okay. So there are certain configurations. So I'll be discussing. I'll be coming to that topic as you have raised this question. I was expecting this question. So thanks, you have asked that. So there's a topic, something called manage user access. Okay. So this topic, I'll be covering this. Like there are different certain things we are covering in the RBP, and inside the managed your my processes, there are certain
Mm-hmm.
activities inside that. Suppose it is an alert. Okay, there are certain alerts or certain configurations which are some for some special purpose. Okay, so in that case you will be assigning to that particular my processes, and I'll be discussing into details whenever I'll be discussing this the next topic. Okay, is that fine?
Yeah, that should be good. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So now I'll be covering the managed user access topic, this topic. Okay. So, so in this topic, basically I'll be covering the different RBP, and when it comes to the RBP, I'll be directly showing into the system. Okay, what are the different RBPs available and what are the different permission group, permission roles available. Okay, that will be covering in that topic. So basically we have three major roles when it comes to the RBP from incomes to EC payroll and payroll control center point of view. Okay, we call it a HR admin, payroll manager, and payroll administrator. Okay, so HR admin is actually not a new role. Actually, you must have this role already in your must have used in the EC, or he is responsible for all kind of employee center related activities. Okay, so he can have all the master data maintenance, all those activities. But the two unique one is the payroll manager and the payroll administrator. Okay. So when I say payroll manager, he is the only person who will be responsible for running the payroll. Okay. When I say running the payroll and providing all the results, okay, health check of the payroll, okay, monitoring the payroll and distributing the payroll, different activities. Okay. But when it comes to payroll administrator, the difference is payroll administrator is actually a subject matter expert. Okay. So he must be knowing, it is close to a consultant role. Okay. So he must be knowing in end to end of the what are the different activities from a payroll point of view. Okay. So any kind of policies he should be able to violate. Anything is violating, then you have to resolve that policy violations, and he will be working closely with the consultant. Okay, consultant like us. Okay, the payroll consultant will be directly working with the payroll administrator. Initially, the EC payroll consultant, he will be working as a payroll administrator for initial days, and he will be having a handholding with the payroll administrator. Okay, till the time depending upon your agreement or contract. Okay, so you will be working closely with the payroll administrator who will be helping in the payroll consultant will be helping the payroll administrator for all kind of initial days, whatever the activities you'll be doing. So these are different three major roles, but from a payroll point of view, there are two roles. Payroll manager, who is more of a operational activities he'll be doing, running the payroll, your all kind of monitoring, okay, distribution. Similarly, the third one is the payroll admin, who is basically a subject matter expert. Okay, these two roles are measured, but I'll be showing you in the system. Let me go to the system. I'll not be focusing on this screenshot and all. Directly, I'll be focusing on hands-on now. So when it comes to, please.
So now, are these roles same for everyone, or does that mean are they standard, or can we customize as per the individual request?
Exactly. So what is this? These are the standard we have given, SAP provided, but you can customize this role. Suppose, depending upon your organization size, depending upon your how many payroll administrator or consultants available. So depending upon that, you can design, you can create your own role also. Okay. So which I'll be giving one example here. Suppose it is a large organization having say 10,000 plus employees, and there are some four payroll administrator, sorry, four people who are part of your payroll team. When I said team, there are multiple activities. One is a payroll administrator, one is a payroll process manager, and there are two people who are actually more of a kind of a specialist. So in SAP, you'll be finding those kind of roles, say specialist or any kind of those things, say only for tax. Okay. So what you can do, you can create an RBP for means you can create a role. Okay. Only particular access I'll be discussing the role into details. You can give a particular access, only say only for reporting. One person will be reporting all the payroll related reporting, but he will not be able to run the payroll. He should not be able to monitor the payroll, but he will be having access to the reports, all the payroll reports he will be accessing. You can see, tell him like payroll coordinator or some kind of payroll assistant. Okay, those kind of depending upon your organization, you can always design a custom role and you can give particular access. Okay, in the RBP you must be knowing, like in any other module, in particular access. You don't have to give the entire role. Okay, all the checkbox you don't have to tick. Only thing particular. Suppose I'm handling only tax or garnishment, only specific activities I'll be doing. Okay. Or it can be country specific. Suppose you are a global organization, you have a payroll, you are implementing EC payroll, say for 10 plus countries. Okay. So, but you don't want to give all people to all countries. Okay. So in that case also you can restrict. Okay. The specific person will be only running for a particular, say Canada payroll. He will be taking care of Canada payroll. Another particular person will be taking care of, say, only for US payroll. Another person will be taking care of Indian payroll. So you can segregate those roles according to country specific. You can do a lot of flexibility here we can get. Okay. So those kind of topics we'll be discussing in the details now. Okay. So is that question your answer? Does that answer your query?
Yeah, because I see there are three roles, right? HR admin, HR payroll manager, and payroll administrator.
Yeah. These
So
are
I
the
was
standard.
just wondering
Yeah, no.
because
You can always customize. You can always customize. Even I have done up to say 7 to 8 roles. I have even, as per the
yeah.
requirement, I have configured in my past projects. But SAP doesn't restrict to that. This is very much flexible. When it comes to RBP. Okay. So only thing is you have to understand what activities during your workshop or during your workbook updation you have to identify,
Yeah.
because in the RBP you will be taking those things. Okay. So like you have to segregate those roles. Okay. So those are different things that just I wanted to focus. Yeah, it is
So
very much flexible.
it's basically the business requirement, but nothing standard, right?
Nothing standard. Yes. The standard means actually SAP is recommended. These are the two minimum requirement, like payroll administrator, your payroll process manager, HR administrator. These are three measure, but there is not very much standard. Minimum you have to use these three. Other than that, you can
Yeah.
also depending upon your business requirement, you can always create a new custom RBP for your organization. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome. Yeah. So now we have some couple of hands-on exercises. So what I will do, I'll be quickly going through, but I'll be giving this access. So you just what you can do, I'll be posting my WhatsApp number here and also my email ID, so that you can. I'll be sharing this document with you directly, so that and also I'll be providing the credentials today for this instance. Okay, and so that you can, for the next session when we start, you can at least have an overview of what we have covered today. And also immediately I'll be sharing this PPT, the presentation, so that you will be able to have a check on this. Okay, you just ping me or just say text message for me, and I'll be replying to that with all these details. Okay, and we'll be seeing what are the details. This hands-on is most important, because what are the now the concept I've covered, but when you are getting this access, you'll be finding these topics. What are the new, once you navigate to the system and play around all this RBP and all, you will be finding it is more interesting. So the first exercises is for you, like you have to, there is something called, yesterday I have covered to some extent, but where you have to find this manage SAP system configuration. Okay, so this is the first task, like which this is actually, I'll be telling the purpose of this. Okay, so for this exercises, actually I have directly written the solution, but I have to actually, I should have given the given a thought, like what is the question actually. So okay, so the question is, generally people ask what is the connectivity between your on-premise system and your instance, whatever instance you're using SuccessFactors. So this is the point where exactly you have to activate. Okay, there is a one checkbox called access to SAP system configuration. Okay, so this access or this permission is only given to the administrator and the consultant. Okay, so consultant like us, okay, who will be day-to-day handling all of your SAP on-premise payroll system configuration. Okay, this access must be there. Okay, so that is simple. Just you have to go to the system. You can create a system admin role in the system. Okay, then this permission you can give manage SAP system configuration. You'll be finding it easily in your permission settings. Okay, then you will be checkbox this access to SAP system configuration. Then only you will be able to configure all in the on-premise side, SAP on-premise side. Okay, this is one of the exercises you will be, but anyway in this sales demo instance, you will not be finding means connectivities, as I was telling, it's the connectivity is not there into the on-premise system. But as soon as you get your first project, whenever you are going for any project, EC payroll project, first you have to check, this is one of your activity in your mind, like SAP system configuration. If suppose they have not given access, then you have to come to this point directly, whether I have been given this manage SAP system configuration or not, because as a consultant you have to do everything end to end. Okay, so administrator to us, if it is super admin only, I'll be suggesting to give. Suppose there is a super admin and there is a normal admin, then it is suggested to super admin you should give this access. Okay? So this is one of the point exercises just I'll be telling you to focus on. Then there are certain configuration which are related to the integration. So when it comes to the payroll integration permission, so there are different categories of integrations. Okay, so when it comes to payroll integration, there are certain configuration for data replication configuration. Okay, so as I was mentioning, you can have a particular role for only viewing this. Okay, only viewing you can give, but not editing. Okay, depending upon your business requirement, you have all the flexibility, all the options you are given. But as a payroll admin or super admin or as a payroll consultant, you should be having all this access. Okay, so also for that reason, you can see most of the things actually I've checked, I've ticked here. Okay, data replication configuration, data replication, employee payroll run results, all this should be your activated payroll run. Okay, so this is from a payroll integration permission point of view. I'll be showing in tomorrow's session, and once today just I'm focusing on this screenshot, but tomorrow I'll be showing how it looks like. Okay, this is one of the exercises for you where you can find. And what is the purpose of this integration, I have answered in this slide. Okay, when it comes to the payroll control center configuration, I have highlighted in this role, what are the activities you can do. Okay, so this is not very difficult to understand. Okay, so like there are different, only this is a simple RBP. Okay, so this RBP I'll be showing you tomorrow in detail. Okay, so as you're asking the question, like to answer that, this is the solution. This is exercise number 3, where you can give an authority. Like suppose you are having access to my processes. Okay, so if you're ticking this, then you'll be having access to the processes. Suppose you are giving to only say manage team access or manage payroll. Okay, so accordingly you can plan as many as role as for your requirement. But as a payroll admin or payroll process manager, you will be having certain processes which will be applicable for you. Okay, so as a super admin, I'll be having all the access. Okay, as an consultant, I'll be having all the accesses. But as in when it comes to business requirement, say specific role, you can always customize this role when it comes to the payroll control center also. Okay, so these are some few exercises which I'll be sharing with you in the slides. Then you can to just go through this permission. If you have any questions, you can just ask in tomorrow's session. So this is there's some all hands-on related activities. Okay, so which you are already aware of. So I'm not focusing what is an permission group, what is the target population. Okay, because these are already a part of your EC. Okay, from an EC payroll point of view, what are the things important for you? You can always come back and you can configure these things in the RBP. Okay. Similarly, the exercise number 4 is all about your connectivity yesterday, which I have shown you, like SAP system configuration, how you will be connecting to a client, your on-premise client to your SuccessFactors instance. Okay, so your on-premise client will be having a particular system URL, and those specific client ID you will be having, and you have to type SAP system configuration. You have to connect that. These are some basic standard configuration which you can do in your SuccessFactors instance. Okay, so this was your exercise number 4, and you will be finding how to connect this system name to particular payroll process. Okay, and these things will be, I'll showcase you as tomorrow. Okay, once again. And what are the different systems? Suppose I am in system administrator, payroll administrator, and what are the system I do have access. Okay, so from here also, as you are asking the questions like RBP, so always you can see there are different options available. Suppose I am handling a payroll specific to a particular country. Okay, so again, it is not directly part of your RBP, but again, you can assign the system. So it is a system assignment. There is something called payroll system assignment, which works on the top of your RBP. Okay, so whatever RBP you have already defined, those are fine. But on the top of that, if you want to give an access to a particular country, say Canada payroll or US payroll or Indian payroll, depending upon that, you can give the access to the particular system. Okay, so this is the way you can control your different payroll system assignment with a specific admin. Okay, suppose I am the person, say, who will be handling say Canada payroll as well as Indian payroll. Okay, then I'll be given 2 system access. Okay, so and I can make 2 as a default. So in this system, I'll be assigning so that I'll be running only those 2 country payroll. In that way, I can control depending upon my system assignment. So along with your RBP, whatever you've discussed, along with your RBP, this payroll system assignment also, it plays a significant role whenever it comes to the different payroll assignments, responsibilities and all. So this is another exercises which you can practice. And similarly, once you are given the access, then you will be having country specific different depending upon your countries. Whatever yesterday I was showing to you, Germany, France, Canada, whatever country. Though in my system you will be finding all the countries are activated. Okay, which is the system which I'm going to share with you. Okay? So all this system, at least you can find it. You can just play it around. At least you'll be dealing with Canada payroll most frequently. Then you can go to the Canada specific configuration and you just find out what are the different portlets available, what are the activities you can do, what are the payroll different tasks specific for Canada payroll. Okay, so those things you can navigate through. Okay, so this is just a task for you as you are already a little bit late today. So I'll stop here and tomorrow we'll be starting and I'll be giving this access and as soon as possible. So then you will be start practicing and tomorrow we'll be starting with the remaining topics of the as an employee admin point of view. What are the things you have to do? And few topics I'll be skipping, like entering employee data, because these are actually part of completely EC, Employee Central. So it is not relevant, like how to add a new employee. If you are not had been certified in EC, or you, then I could have covered it. But there's some basic steps like how to add a new employee. Just I'll be focusing related to payroll data. Okay, when it comes to payroll, what are the different activities, or what are different portlets you have to fill it up for an employee. Okay. So those topics I'll be focusing on. Is that fine for you, or how is it?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, unless you're not
Yeah,
speaking on
yes.
the word.
Because our focus is more on employee central payroll. So these things actually I'll be skipping some because from a completeness point of view, I have added in the slides. Okay, but tomorrow we'll be focusing more on the system. I'll be starting with the whatever the hands-on I was mentioning, right? All the hands means even if I'll be, you just ping me the number which I have shared with you and the email, and I'll be sharing this PPT as soon as I receive it. And you at least these 5 activities you should aware of before we start, okay, tomorrow's session. At least these 5 things you should be able to navigate, and you should be able to find if any node or any doubt you're having, you're not able to, you're familiar with a particular configuration node. Okay, because these things also comes into sometimes a question. What are the, suppose they'll be giving a screenshot like this, what are the activities you have to do in this particular screenshot, and what is relevant, what is the relevance of this particular configuration assignment, payroll system assignment. You have to answer those kind of questions also sometime in the certification. Okay? So for that reason, this I'll be not giving many assignment. These 5 things you have to just, even I have given the screenshot. Okay, just you navigate those topics and you create your own these things. Okay, you can create your different, just play it around. Okay, all these 5 exercises I'll be giving to you, and tomorrow we'll be starting with the remaining topic that will be tomorrow. We'll be starting with how to understand the payroll data replication. Okay, so this is most important, another topic from an admin point of view, how the data replication works and all. We'll be starting with the, if you are facing any challenges in today's assignment, then we'll be following up with starting with the data, already going deep dive into the payroll data replication topic. So this is the my today's topic. Okay, any questions before we wind up?
I'm good.
So
How about
Nayak,
you?
are we going to have class weekdays or weekends, or how is that?
I'm comfortable both in weekdays and weekend, because as soon as there's a morning session, so for me it's the morning 6 to 8. I'm comfortable, but if it is very late for you, just let me know, if so that we can plan it
No, no, no.
accordingly.
No, I'm quite flexible. I just want to know so that I plan my day. That's fine.
Okay, okay, no problem. So we'll be having a morning 6 to 8 in Indian timing, so that it will be, we can complete it. And you just, I just pinged my number as well as the email. You just ping me, just say hi to me, and I'll be sending these slides immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very
Mm.
much. Have a good day. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
I would.
Bye. Bye. See you tomorrow.